And I'm supposed to yell and run at them and act like I'm revving up the chainsaw? Right, but remember, Harold, safety is our top priority. You don't make any actual physical contact with the park guests, and they're not allowed to touch you either.
Unless they've paid for the Golden Zombie ticket upgrade.
Right, that entitles them to whack the scare actors vigorously with our Monster Whacker branded pool noodles, or slap you once per patron with a gently moistened rubber skeleton, but if they try to use anything pointy or go for the kidneys, make sure their wristband shows platinum status first. How long is my shift again?
Till sunup or first blood.
Oh, hello, video gamers, and welcome to Shu and Chan's Kingdom of Terrors, the scariest place in all of Ohio.
That is not specifically Cleveland.
As you know, Chen and I are normally video game designers, but I ask you, what is a video game designer but an entertainer who works on a digital stage and charges you $20 for a virtual novelty hat? Well, as the Halloween season approached this year, Chen and I were shocked to learn that there were a number of non-digital entertainment venues, major corporate theme parks among them, who have been making serious bank this time of year by running haunted attractions, and their dumb novelty hats cost $60 plus tax.
We felt like such amateurs.
There, brother, that's all in the past, and now Shu and Chan's Kingdom of Terrors is open to all people's stout of heart and solid of credit rating, and let me tell you, video gamers, we are rolling in it.
Though ours is a lower budget operation, we've been able to maintain a sizable profit margin by eliminating quite a bit of costly overhead.
For instance, we've been able to save massively on labor costs by putting all of our scare actors on a work for tips basis, but then not informing any of our park guests about it. This results in some really effective performances a few hours from closing. Give me money!
In addition, we took some cues from the Spirit Halloween Corporation's practice of renting out abandoned retail space to set their spooky shops in, but did it one better by simply setting up operations on an actual spooky abandoned lot that already had a creepy house and deteriorating mental hospital on it, thus saving thousands in both scenery and property rentals.
Pro tip, the yellow condemn tape they use on the doors just snips right off.
We're even getting a kickback on tetanus boosters at the concessions.
But while guests may linger in the park due to our unique mix of lovingly handcrafted spooky decor and shockingly organic horror atmosphere, or possibly the occasional mobility-limiting foot infection, it's our top-notch haunted attractions that really bring them in. Like, for instance, our Fright Trail to Oblivion. By all initial appearances, a standard haunted hayride, except we didn't actually finish the road on time, so it just kind of stops about a half-mile into the woods, and the guests have to walk back. Double the scares in the exact same square footage.
$20 and a signed legal waiver gains you access into the Asylum of Gullible Souls, where, as the story goes, an asylum was shut down in 1943, and then in modern times a pair of brothers opened it back up as a haunted attraction, but didn't do any checks for things like black mold or structural integrity, or even resident vagrants.
Yeah, I stepped on a rusty nail and then I stepped in somebody's urine bucket.
Ooh, I was looking for that. Based on a true story.
But perhaps our greatest attraction, the very centerpiece of our Denny's breakfast buffet of horrors, a devil from another time, a plague persisting through the centuries, wrenched from the black heart of Romania, feeding off the blood of the living. Behind this curtain lies none other than the actual wooden stake corpse of the king of all vampires, Count Dracula himself.
Which is still not the weirdest thing we've ever purchased off of Craigslist.
Okay, so for the sake of complete transparency, there's an asterisk or two attached to that description. The first being that, all right, fine, it's not really Count Dracula himself. It turns out that the genuine Count Dracula has been staked, burned, resurrected, burned again, decapitated, double-staked, drowned, roasted, and outright obliterated by so many vampire hunters so many times that his actual remains currently fit neatly in a cigar box, for which the seller was still asking 6 figures.
It didn't even include shipping.
After some comparison shopping, we finally settled on the more photogenic and much cheaper remains of a slightly lesser vampire lord, Count Eckhart the Mad, who terrorized a lesser-known but still perfectly scenic Carpathian village in the 1800s and was ultimately staked through the heart by a vampire hunter named, well, Dr. Van Helsinki, who honestly had his own branding issues to deal with.
It was almost as good a tale as Bram Stoker's classic and much more economical.
Yes, well, authenticity rarely directly translates to marketability, brother. And I think that once our guests lay eyes on the twisted, gnarled, fanged, desiccated corpse of the late Count Eckhart, frozen forever in the death throes caused by the stake pounded through his heart which ended his plague of terror, and ensures by its continued presence that he shall never rise again, they shall all agree that he looks more like Count Dracula than Count Dracula himself, particularly as I instructed Arnie early in the evening to tack up a big "This is Count Dracula" sign beside the coffin. What they don't know won't hurt them. Now then, without further ado, I present to you...
Okay, I gotta get this sign up, then hang about 30 rubber bats from the ceiling of the hallway of dangly terrors, then clean up yet another mess in the restroom of jump scares that was just bad planning, frankly. Drat, I forgot the nails back in the shed. I guess there's nothing for it. Gonna have to walk all the way back across the park unless there's something here I can hang a sign with.
This bodes ill, brother, and was also basically the plot of 1944's House of Frankenstein.
Let's not jump to any conclusions, Chan. All we know right now is that the body is missing. On the scale of plausibility, the scenario where the removal of a stake causes an ancient vampire to spontaneously resurrect and terrorize the modern world still ranks considerably lower than the scenario where Arnie impulse grabs yet another gnarled, dusty carcass to use in some demented puppet show or tea party.
He is a creepy little wiener.
Frankly, we really only have the Craigslist seller's assurances that that thing even was a vampire in the first place. Let's be honest, at the time we were just happy he was throwing in the coffin for free.
And agreed to tie it to the top of the car for us.
It was a memorable ride home. In any case, first order of business is to track Arnie down and box his little grave-robbing ears. Where could he be?
After these many ages, I am once again arisen. Life once more burns within me, but dimly, far too dimly.
Yeah, I also get like that after a nap, and the eye boogers don't get me started.
I must feed, and you, my servant, you shall assist me. Through me you shall be a part of greater glories than your mortal mind could ever conceive. You shall be the harbinger of a beautiful night everlasting, an eternal darkness that will see me ascend at last to my rightful throne atop a world stained deepest crimson.
Oh, wow. I mean, I like the idea of getting in on the ground floor of something really big, but at the same time, that's what they told me about cryptocurrency, and I'm still waiting for Capybara coin to take off like they said.
Look at me!
All right, this is getting a little ominous. That's the second snack stand we've seen unmanned in the last 20 minutes, and crowd levels are really subdued. You don't suppose Arnie snuck the vampire out and used it to set up a competing attraction, do you? That's just the sort of underhanded trick he'd pull.
That's actually the sort of underhanded trick you would pull, brother.
I mean, sure, but he's worked under me long enough. I'd hope he'd learned something by now. Hey, there's one of our actors, finally. I think it's that kid with the weird glasses. His name's Paul? Peter Horowitz, that's the one. Excuse me, Peter Horowitz, can you come over here?
I'm actually Wendell Stockmeyer, Mr. Tanaka.
Oh, well, obviously, Wendell, I was referring to your character, who is named Peter Horowitz Pumpkinsmith. Surprised you didn't know that. Very disappointed in your lack of preparation. We expect better from our actors. Now then, did you see a largish blue rodent come through here at any point? May have been accompanied by a very quiet individual with mobility issues.
I haven't seen much of anybody for the last half hour, Mr. Tanaka. I'm just so tired. It came on all of a sudden. I was doing my walk up and down the path here, and the guests were screaming and laughing like normal. But something changed, and it seemed like there wasn't much laughing anymore. And all along the ground, out of the woods, this mist kinda rolled in. But it was funny, the places where the light touched it, it was almost red. And I was watching this mist, and I went all sleepy-like. Not like now, just like watching that mist was all that mattered in the whole world. and the mist was changing shape, swirling back and forth, until it didn't look like mist all that much anymore. It looked like two eyes, like animal eyes you'd see reflected in the headlights out in the woods. But there was no light, just the eyes themselves, and they burned like hellfire. And then I felt the teeth pressing in on my neck. They were so cold. But I didn't fight at all, not even when the blood came, and it started drinking.
Wendell, I need you to listen carefully and answer me as best you can remember. This thing that attacked you, did its guest wristband show platinum status?
I don't think so.
That does it. In addition to everything else, we've got some gatecrasher trying to sneak freebies. Where's our security for all this? Gila Mobster, where are you? We've got security issues.
I'm at the gate.
Yeah, I understand, boss. Your scare actors might be due a raise. These palookas are getting real authentic all of a sudden.
Did he say these scare actors were acting strange, brother?
I'm pretty sure he did, although I admit I don't speak fluent wise guy. This could be worse than anticipated, Chen. If I'm reading the signs correctly, I think our park employees might be attempting to unionize.
The master needs blood.
Oh, of course you wait until we're neck deep in the busy season to come in with the demands, you opportunists. Have you no honor? You signed a contract.
Brother Shu, I have a feeling that our search for Arnie just took on a bit more urgency. Whatever's happening with our scare actors seems to be affecting the guests as well.
Communism.
Something more Salem's Lot-y. Of the two scenarios we discussed previously, I fear that Arnie's taxidermied tea party just became the less likely one.
Lives.
Lives for the master.
We both know that's not your real accent, Jerry. We've got vampires, brother. We've got a lot of vampires.
Oh no, this is a disaster. Not only did they all meet their fates on premises, but they're still conscious enough to sue over it, and all the injury waivers we forced them to sign became invalid at the exact moment of their deaths. This will ruin us.
Maybe they're not actually dead, brother. If they're merely in the process of turning, then disposing of the head vampire could theoretically return them all to normal.
Okay, that's kind of Deus Ex Machina-y, but I'll take it. But that still begs the question of where exactly the head vampire is. You don't suppose Arnie's still with him?
Actually, I'd say that's extremely likely, Brother Shu. Count Eckhart has been asleep for several centuries and has awakened into an unfamiliar world. He'll need a servant to guide him through these alien lands as he regains his strength and bolsters his numbers. Probably the very individual who unwittingly returned him to life.
Who, Arnie? I mean, I guess he could kind of guide you if your end goal was to visit a comic book shop or find the lady with the free samples of cocktail wieners at the grocery store. But I have to imagine his skill set is kind of limited when it comes to building armies of the damned.
Steel yourself, brother. Wherever Arnie is right now, by the time we find him, it is likely he will be nigh unrecognizable. A mere thrall, a Renfield, or Ed McMahon, if you will. His mind and will twisted and broken in submission to his new dark master.
Stop laughing like that. That is weird.
Oh, sorry, mister. That Bazooka Joe is a Dickens. Want some bubble gum?
I do not consume bubblegum. At least you have secured us a refuge. You have served me strangely, my thrall, but loyally, and for this I shall reward you with lives.
Lives?
Not great lives, but small ones. Flies, spiders, all these I shall give unto you.
Oh, well, gee, I didn't get you anything. Wait. Want to flee?
Not really, no. Alas, I am still weak from my resurrection, even after feeding off of all these people. In fact, I feel sluggish and nauseated, like I never have in the past. Could there be something that has changed in the blood of modern man that would account for this?
I can't imagine it. Here, try a batter-dipped, deep-fried stick of sweetened butter served on a bed of chili cheese fries. That'll get your energy up.
I think I will just sit down for a while. By now, my new children will have taken the grounds of these pleasure gardens, but daylight will find us in but a few short hours. Have you secured my resting place as I have commanded?
Of course, Master. In keeping with your aesthetic, I have prepared for you this officially licensed Batman sleeping bag. It actually came with a pair of Justice League underoos, but I'm keeping those. And because you must slumber within your native soil, once you're tucked in, I shall gently sprinkle you with the contents of this baggie, which I took the liberty of scraping off the side of your coffin back there. I grant that there are some lint and dried bugs mixed in, but the odds of it containing at least a few native particles of dirt are extremely high. Oh, and just to provide you a little ambient sound to get you to sleep faster, I found a copy of the 1981 novelty cassette, Spooky Sounds from the Haunted Graveyard, A Little Taste of Home.
I was once a nobleman.
Hold it right there, you blood-sucking abomination!
Intruders!
Yes! How did you find us?
It wasn't difficult. We knew that this creature of the night would need to seek refuge from the coming daylight, and it would have to be somewhere close by.
It occurred to us that the abandoned mental hospital, with its impenetrable brick walls, labyrinthine corridors, and dark, spacious basement, would be an ideal hiding place, confounding pursuers and providing numerous opportunities for an ambush.
But then we thought, wait, this is Arnie we're talking about. He probably just took him to the nearest structure with a picture of Count Dracula on it.
It seems my thrall chose our refuge poorly. I must admit your idea about the hospital does seem the wiser choice. We shall be able to proceed there at leisure once you are dealt with. Indeed, the general indefensibility of this structure is likely to be more of a detriment to you than I. My children are already gathering outside, and at my command they shall enter and rend you limb from limb.
Well, if we're about to check out anyway, then I'd say it's about time we had a fire cell!
No, it cannot be. It mustn't end like this.
Yeah, that's a real bummer.
You, my faithful thrall, attack them now! Sacrifice your life that my glory may endure!
Gee, I can't do that. I could get fired.
What? You are my thrall! I took complete control of your will! You cannot disobey me!
Oh, yeah, no, you didn't actually. It turns out I'm only really susceptible to hypnotic suggestion when it's delivered in video format. Seems like kind of a millennial thing. I just didn't want you to feel bad.
You pledged your life to bring me to power! You drew up a detailed plan on how to take down your world leaders!
I just like to feel helpful.
Enough of this. You had your fun, Count Crispy, but we paid good money for you, and now it's time to stake our claim.
Yes, brother, I got it.
Yeah. No, I shall not be defeated by the likes of you. Mark well the sight before you, mortals, for one night soon you shall see it again, lunging down at you from the sky! Why is there a single splintered pole hanging loose here?
Well, the short answer is lax construction standards, but I guess now it's part of a vampire display. Let's remember to get a wingnut screwed onto that thing so he doesn't slide off, okay, Chen?
Look, Brother Shu, all the people in the park are changing back to normal. Off-screen where it's cheaper.
Wow, that was photogenic.
It's a Halloween miracle.
It was very nearly a circus of lawsuits, you demented rodendy Renfield. In fact, the only reason I'm not hanging you from the same rafter is that we're going to need all hands on deck to clean up the mess you made.
Now, brother, it could be argued that Arnie, through his own very specific brand of incompetence, actually contributed a great deal in delaying the vampire apocalypse.
I do what I can.
After initiating it, of course.
Fine, whatever. You're all on damage control for the rest of the evening. Chan, get the band playing and make sure the food stands are open. Arnie, I need you to hand out all these free passes to a special lights-out haunted maze in the woods. We need every guest in this park either too happy and partied out to bring legal action against us, or, barring that, lost in the forest until sunrise so we can make a break for it.
Yes, Master.
Well, video gamers, that's another Halloween adventure on the books, and by that I mean carefully kept out of the books. Until November, this is Shu and Chen bidding you a very happy Halloween.
You saw nothing.